welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So today we're up at the trailer and it's Thanksgiving Day and it's time for celebration, a little bit of splurging. My husband has requested an apple pie, but he forgot that he doesn't have a pie plate up here, and I didn't bring one, and I want homemade crust. So I'm going to do a very rustic style. I'm going to do a apple crostata. And you could do this with any kind of fruit you want. You want to stick with maybe the fall fruits like pears or apples, but man, these are so delicious. And so I'm going to bring you along for homemade pie crust, my version of my pie crust, and how I'm going to do this and keep it rustic and delicious, served with vanilla bean ice cream. Anyways, I won't be indulging, but I know he'll enjoy it. So if this inspires you to stay with me, I hope you hit like somewhere along the way and go down in the About section, check out all the links that I've left for you. My Wild Tree website as well as my Facebook page. Go visit me over there, say hi, and let's go make an apple crostata. Come on. All right, so I have about 2 cups of all-purpose flour in this bowl. I've got a whole stick of butter cubed up, and this is salted butter. I'm just kind of taking advantage of every ingredient, even though I'm going to put a little bit of Himalayan pink salt in here. I like that salty bite that you get in your crust, and then the sweet of the apples, and just a couple rounds of pink salt. Himalayan pink salt, my favorite. You're going to need some ice water, and I've got a pastry cutter here, so I'm going to cut the butter into the flour until it's broke up into really small pieces. And it might take you a little muscle, but it'll be worth it in the end. And then we can get our dough rolled out. And this is just a really rustic way to make a pie. If you haven't made very many pies, you really can't make a mistake with this one. It's delicious, it's easy, and who doesn't love an apple pie? So get this all worked in, and I'll show you what I got when I go to add the cold water, because we want all these pieces of butter to stay kind of in whole form, so when they melt in the oven, it becomes a really flaky crust. And I use butter. Some people use shortening. I've done that in the past as well, but I like butter the best. Okay, so now that I've got my dough, I've got it all in, you can kind of go through it with your fingers, and you could actually you don't have to have a pastry cutter, but you want it up pretty small, pretty fine, all the pieces, and then you're going to have some ice water. I've got some cold bottled water. And you're just going to add a couple tablespoons at a time. And I'm using gloves because I don't want to have to scrub under my nails before I can even shut the camera off. And it just makes for easy cleanup. You pull the glove off. And then we're going to roll it out. Or actually, we're not going to roll it out. We're going to let it rest in some saran wrap before we roll it out. So you can see it's starting to form. Depending on how much flour you have in here, gosh, pie dough is probably the easiest thing on the planet to make. That, noodles, and biscuits. You just have to have the right technique. See how messy this would be without the glove? If I had a camera guy, it wouldn't matter. My husband keeps volunteering, but I don't see him enough. We'd only get a video, once a week out. Okay, now we're starting to form a dough ball. And I'm just going to knead it right here in the bowl. As you can see, I've got kind of a nice ball forming. A little bit more water, not much. Maybe another teaspoon. You can get too much water, you're kind of messed up. I just want to knead that just a little bit so it really forms a nice ball. And then we're going to wrap it up in saran wrap and let it get really cold while I prep my apples all cut up. I've got them all cut up. And I'm tossing them in some dark honey Seagram 7. So a dark honey bourbon. I don't have any lemon juice, and I'm pretty sure the alcohol will keep them from turning brown. And it'll give it a rich depth of flavor. And who doesn't like a little spirit in the holidays? So I've got 3 big Granny Smith apples in here and 1 Fuji apple, which is a little softer apple, but It'll add some different texture in here as well. So we're going to leave those right where they're at. We're going to get our dough out, flour my surface, and we're going to get to rolling our dough. So I have my beautiful little dough ball here that's been resting in the refrigerator. And we've got some flour down on the board, some flour on our rolling pin, and we're just going to kind of get it started with our hands and make sure we got enough flour all over. And I'm doing it on a rectangular pan, so I really kind of want it rectangular. And you just roll it to however thick or thin you like it. If you wanted a round pie or something like that, that would be good too. But I'm going to get over here. I really want it to be more rustic like the pan, because I'm doing it on a cookie sheet that fits in my little oven. But you can do it however you want. And so you can see the dough, because it's had time to rest, it's not springing back on itself and trying to shrink back up on me. It's doing a beautiful job. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because we're looking for rustic today. Okay, I think we're about there. And then we're going to get our apple mixture that's been marinating in that bourbon. We're going to put that right down in a big pile, just like that. Okay? And that bourbon kept them from oxidizing, which is beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted. I'm going to soak up some of that bourbon with some brown sugar and cinnamon. Let's get some cinnamon down here. And, whoops, brand new cinnamon. We want a couple teaspoons worth, if not a tablespoon of cinnamon to start with. And then we need our brown sugar to go here. And that's going on there. Ugh, doesn't that look good? It's going to just soak up all into that bourbon mixture. And then, there we go, give my hands a quick rinse. And then you're going to fold up those edges, and that's really all you have to do. It's so simple. The hard part's going to be getting it onto my cookie sheet. And if you wanted to egg wash the outside here, you can. I might do that. We'll see. I've got my oven preheating at 400 degrees. And look at that. Look how beautiful that is. We're going to get this on the cookie sheet, do a nice egg wash on the crust. We're going to dot the top of this with some butter, because we don't have enough butter in here, right? It is the holidays. Let's get some butter. I've got some butter all cut up into slices. So we can just tuck some of that down in there. Pieces. Yeah. Yum. Make it pretty. There you go. Okay. All right, so last topping, I put a little bit more cinnamon, and I've got about a half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and I'm going to put that down there. And then we're going to put our egg wash. And I don't have a basting brush, so I'm just going to apply it with a fork. Again, we're rustic. You do it however you can. Get your fork saturated with the egg. A little bit of water. And this will just give the dough a nice sheen when it's done. If I had a pastry brush, that would be better. And there you go. Oops, don't lose your butter. There we go. And we're going to put this in a 400-degree oven until it's golden brown and delicious and smells like Grandma's
Look
kitchen.
at this beautiful apple crostata. Just a rustic way to have pie without a pie plate.
Smells
so good.
Smells like Thanksgiving in here.